So in this first part of the chapter 1, 3, and 4 test review, I'm going to take a look at chapter 1 for the review. So the first thing we're given is a table of data on the statistics classes at DACC. So we're given the gender of each student, the lab they're in, their age, their homeschool, and whether or not they're full or half day. So the first question we asked, who are the individuals being studied? So in this case, my individuals being studied are statistics students at DACC. The next thing I'm going to look at is whether each variable is categorical or quantitative. So the first thing we're given, so I'm going to first list all of the categorical data. So remember, categorical data is something that can't be expressed as a number. So the gender, lab, homeschool, and full/half day. That's all of the information that is categorical. And then we want to look at our quantitative data. So remember, quantitative data is something that can be expressed as a number, and the only thing that we express as a number here is age. So next we are given a table that contains the record low temperature in degrees Fahrenheit in each of the 50 states, and we're going to use this data to answer questions 2 through 4. So the question 2 is creating graphs for this data, and I did use Google Sheets. You are allowed to do this by hand. So the first one was a dot plot. So I went ahead and I carried all of the data over to Google Sheets. I listed it and I kept track of the count for each temperature and had it create a scatter plot for that information. And it went ahead and most of the states only had one dot. This dot that has 6 of them above, this was -50. There was one that had 4, one that had 3, a few that had 2, but most of the temperatures only occurred once. But something like a dot plot for this is a little bit more time consuming than what we did in B, which is a histogram. So for the histogram, all I had to do was transfer over the temperature in each of the 50 states and just highlight it and then insert my chart. And what the histogram did, so remember, each of my bars over here is a range. So the number of states who had a range of a record low between -80 and -66.43, and my counts go up by 5s, appear in this bar, and then between -66.43 and 52.86, and so on and so forth. So what you can do is adjust your bars. So I should have done it for mine, but I didn't. You were more than welcome to leave it as decimals, but since none of our temperatures contained decimals, it probably would have been a good idea for me to adjust my range to go from maybe -80 to -66, and then continued whatever the width of that bar was for the rest of the temperatures, going all the way up to 15. So remember, one of the important things for a histogram is each bar is the same width. If they're not the same width, then the graph becomes misleading. And then the height here is the number of states that fell within that range of the temperature along the bottom. So next we're going to calculate some information for our record low temps. So this is something you're going to use your calculator for. You don't have to do it by hand. So the first thing you want is the mean. So my average record low was -40.32, and then I do need units, degrees Fahrenheit. And then it asks, is this a population or sample mean? And in this case, it's a population mean. So we did take the temperature of each of the 50 states. There are not more than 50 states, so that was all of our population. If I had only looked at 30 of the states or even 10, it would have been a sample mean. Next, we want the median, so the middle temperature, which was negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Quartile 1 was negative 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and then quartile 3 was negative 31 degrees Fahrenheit. So remember here, because we're dealing about negatives, the larger negative numbers are going to appear to the left, and the smaller negative numbers are going to appear more to the right. Okay? Then our min was negative 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and our max was 12 degrees Fahrenheit. And then we have standard deviation. So standard deviation ties directly back into A about which standard deviation you want to use. So because we were talking about a population mean, we have to use the population standard deviation. So in your calculator, remember the population standard deviation is our Greek symbol, and then with the X, and it ends up being 16.997. And it would be degrees Fahrenheit. So the average distance from the mean each temperature is 16.997 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, if you're looking at your calculator here, the reason why I didn't round to 16.99 or even 17 is because I wanted to make sure I had decimals. And I had to put 3 decimals here because the second decimal was a 9 and the third decimal place was originally a 6. And if rounding up would have made me round to a whole number, which I didn't want to do here. And then we want to take a look at outliers. So remember, we have to do quartile 1 minus 1.5 times the IQR, which is the interquartile range. And then we do quartile 3 plus 1.5 times the IQR. And we look for anything less than the first value and greater than the second value to be an outlier. So quartile 1 was negative 50 minus 1.5. Remember, IQR is calculated by doing quartile 3 minus quartile 1. So negative 31 minus negative 50, which is 19. So negative 50 minus 1.5 times 19 gives us negative 63.5. And then we're going to quartile 3, we're going to do negative 31 plus 1.5 times 19. And we're going to get negative 2.5. All right, so going back to look at our table, we want to select any values less than negative 63.5. So there are outliers. Negative 80 is an outlier, and negative 66. Those are the only temperatures less than negative 63.5. And then we want to look at anything greater than negative 2.5, and there are 2 of those, negative 2 and 12. So we have 4 outliers here. The last thing was constructing the box plot. So I went ahead and used that website I gave you guys to insert my box plot. So remember, in the box plot we have our min, and then we have quartile 1, the median, quartile 3, and the max. Okay, and then we do need to have the name of a box plot, and we need to have a name for our axis. So our axis does tell us the record low temperature. for each of our 50 states. So we're looking at temperatures here. Okay. So that leads me directly into question 4. What data makes up the 5-number summary? So for anything, the 5-number summary, that's exactly what is displayed in a box plot. So the minimum, quartile 1, the median, quartile 3, and the maximum. Those 5 numbers make up the 5-number summary, and they're the 5 numbers we use to construct a box plot. So as long as you know how to construct a box plot, you know the 5-number summary, and vice versa. So our last 2 questions from the chapter 1, we have a table, but this time it contains the record high temperature in each of the 50 states. And again, this is accurate information. So the last graph we talked about in chapter 1 was a stem plot. So the way I inserted a stem plot here was using a table. So the way I broke up my stems is I did the left side is my hundreds and my tens place, and then the right side, so my leaves, are the ones place. And I broke it up so that I did the 0 through 4 and the 5 through 9 for each set of tens place, because I have so many values, and that way I could get a better representation of my stem plot. And the other thing I did was to remember to include a key. So remember, if you are creating your own stem plot, you have to make sure you include a key so that someone knows how to read it. So 10-0 represents 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So I know how to read this. It's not 10.0 because it could be a decimal. So the key is an important part of a stem plot. Okay, and then based on this stem plot, I want to describe the shape, center, and spread of the data. So if I'm looking at the shape of my data, and I can kind of draw the shape based on the way the stem plot is laid out, my shape is symmetric. Okay, it follows that basic stem plot, the basic bell curve. Okay. The next thing I want to do is the center. So remember, the center is the same thing as the median. It's the middle. So you can do this by hand, start crossing out values. You can also enter your data into your calculator and have it calculate the median, which again is the center. And it ends up being 114 degrees Fahrenheit. That ends up being the center. So remember, my center should follow somewhere in the middle of where my bell curves are. So I know it has to be somewhere in the 110s because of how the shape of my graph is. And then lastly, we have the spread. So remember, spread is the same thing as the range. Okay, so the range, my lowest goes from 100 degrees Fahrenheit to my max 128 degrees Fahrenheit. You can also think of the spread as a single value. So I do the 128 minus 100, which gives me 28. So there's a spread of 28 degrees from my lowest to my highest value. So this is everything from chapter 1 that could be included on the test. Please let me know what questions you have if there's something you're still not sure how to calculate.